Hi race fans, welcome back to Rauscher Racing Weekly, where we've just come back from points race number 4 from Cycleland Speedway. Another decent night. Of course, racing highs and lows again, like you're going to hear about every week. But overall, not for us, for my boys, for Blake and Evan, not a super bad night, but not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Blake and Evan, I don't know. They weren't the greatest in practice. They both qualified towards the back. I think Evan qualified 32nd out of 32 this week. Again, his grumblings continue. So earlier this morning, we took and tore Evan's engine apart, and we're actually going to send the cylinder off. I think after everything we changed, like I said last week, it was carburetor and CDI box, and now it's got the same symptoms that Blake's had when the cylinder was wore out. So that's going back to Montana, and Jim Zimmerman at Straight Up Performance is going to work his magic, and hopefully we'll have a bullet here in 2 weeks when we go back.
Yeah. So. And it's hard to watch them struggle and everybody scratching their head.
Right.
Trying to figure it out.
Right. I mean, we had other pit crews over last week helping us try to figure things out. We had more pit crews over this week. Just everybody putting their heads together trying to figure this out. That's the cool thing about what we do, the sport we have, is it's a pretty damn big family. If I have something that somebody else needs, they come and get it. If you have something we need, you let us have it along with everybody else, from my trailer to yours to everybody else's. So that's super cool.
And it could be even somebody that's not even pitted near us that comes over and, hey, you think you could do this, or you got this part?
Right.
And try to help everybody out.
Right. Kim and I, we became Straight Up Performance dealers. So we sell his exhaust and parts and all that. There was a guy last week that needed a bracket. I didn't happen to have the bracket in stock, but you had a welder, and so we're like, bring it over. We on the right one, we'll fix it.
Yep.
And so, that's the cool thing, is I could have taken that bracket to anybody else and they'd have fixed it for me.
Yeah. And
so
got it figured out, and that guy was able to make his BMain, and
right.
And I think he actually transferred, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But with Brent, he looked way better in qualifying. I thought he laid down a pretty good lap, and when the time clock showed, it wasn't great at all.
Right. It's so weird. Last week you said, his lap didn't look that quick, and it was fast.
Yeah.
And then this week you said it looked faster, and it's actually slower. So,
but the weather this week to last week, it was overcasty. It had rained in the morning, and they put a ton of moisture in the track, so it was hooked up and hammered down, and just a little extra couple twitches with the steering wheel is all it really takes to take you from being quick time to 10th, 11th, or worse.
Right. Yeah, if you're 2, 3, 4 tenths off, that could be the difference between being first and being 30th.
Yep.
It's just like being at Red Bluff. These cars, they're so tightly packed in on time. It's crazy what happens.
So, and Brent had a good heat race. He ended up finishing second. He started 6th and finished second.
Right.
And he passed every one of them. None of them was a give me, which was good. And if Brent would have been able to hit the bottom the way he should have, he should have been able to win that main, but he missed the heat race.
Right.
He missed the bottom just a couple times. The only bad part is he missed the bottom the same time the leader missed the bottom.
Right.
So,
yeah, if he'd have nailed it the 2 times the leader missed it, he'd have walked away from it.
Yeah, he was set sail.
Learn. Yeah.
And then the main, he started 3rd, second row inside, and he held his own. He stayed in the top 6.
Right.
So we're getting there. He's finally figuring it out.
Yeah, and it's weird when you watch kids come from the box stocks or the junior outlaws up into the 250s, and every class they go up, you can see when something clicks.
Yep.
Like it happens overnight. Like last weekend, you could have been crap, and they go out this weekend, they set the world on fire just because something clicks. Like they get in the car and they get into the corner just right, and they're like, I like that. I'd do that again. And it works. You can't teach them that. You can tell them about it all you want until you're blue in the face. But until it clicks in their mind and they go, that's what Dad's been telling me.
And sometimes we could tell them over and over.
Yeah.
And they go talk to somebody else that says the same thing, maybe different wording or whatever.
Right.
And they go out and they're like, yeah, I like what he said. Well, I told you the same thing, but okay, I'm chopped liver.
Right.
but sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes it's the advice you get from other people that...
Sometimes other stuff's better. Ask my kids. I take a whole damn toolbox to the track, and they'll go next door to your trailer to use your tools. So, which is the funniest damn thing in the world, but they crack me up.
Well, it's like they were doing tires before their heat races, or before qualifying. Blake comes over. You got the bead breaker? No. It's in the front of the other trailer. Oh, it's in front of the trailer? No, it's in the old trailer, because we got a new trailer. Oh, why didn't you bring the bead breaker? Because I just threw enough stuff in to come this weekend.
Right, and we just got our trailer rolling again. And Mom and I loaded it, and apparently we missed one tool, and we heard about it. So, but ultimately, again, the big race family comes in. They can go across to somebody else's pit, and they come back with tires that are busted off the wheels.
And then here's Blake. Oh, I need the tire band. This is the left rear. It's at the house. Oh, so you don't have it? Nope.
Right.
Oh.
Which we had our tire band. I don't think they even looked for it, though. It was in the cupboard. So... But Blake, he didn't have the greatest nights. He didn't heat race all that well. He held his own, but we didn't gain enough spots to make the top 3 to get into the main. And then in the BMain, I think he started 6th, and they were only taking 4, so we had to pass 2 cars to get in, and he was right there. I mean, he was all over getting in, and I think, honestly, he would have transferred.
Yep.
But they had a caution come out, and he come through turns 1 and 2, and the car he's pacing along, and the car sounded like the chain fell off. It revved up. He pulled to the infield and just killed it. Him as a driver has to work on trying to diagnose it first.
Figure out
instead of just giving up too quick, So, I mean, there are enough cars had fallen out. He was running 5th out of the 5 cars that were left, but he was all over 4th. He would have transferred, I think.
Yeah, he could have thrown that last bonsai move.
Right.
Coming to the checkered if he had to.
Right. So... there again this morning, here we are, we're out tearing Blake's engine apart. We pulled his clutch out and everything, and after talking to Zimmerman about what it could be, and ultimately after looking at it, I think what happened is the motor mount failed, and then Blake said the car got vibrated real bad, and I'm thinking that the lever that they have on there, it's not, we run motorcycle engines, but we don't have just the little tab that you use for shifting gears. It's elongated, so a little bit more weight out there, and I don't know if the vibration caused it to fall into neutral or push it past the gear, because he only has 4th gear in that engine, in that transmission. So we pulled the clutch out and we looked at that, and everything Zimmerman said to look at has got to be, look good. The only thing I can think of is something with the motor mount allowed something to move just right, and it knocked it into neutral.
Kick it out of gear.
Right. So, as you know, we brought that to you to take to your guys and see if they can fix this up. I'm hoping they can fix it.
Yeah, those motor mounts aren't cheap.
No, exactly. And this one's hammered, so.
Yeah, it's pretty beat up with all the cracks and the wear, which I wonder if it's just, from the vibration and the abuse of the flex that the cars go through, especially on a rough track.
Right.
A rough track's got to beat everything up.
Right. And you've seen in past videos, Blake said nothing but either roll, flip, tumble, pop wheelies, you name it. He's put that motor mount through hell, so. I guess if you want something product tested, let my son have it.
That's for sure.
Right. So we're off the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned for maybe some different shows, maybe some full race coverage from Fast4. We're not sure what we'll come up with, but hopefully y'all like it.
Yep.
562 for 10th and 11th respectfully, and we welcome to the track now the 07 Evan Rauscher, Aaron Mosier in the 23K, Jaden Bunch in the 11 VSJ, and the 85 Nate Jones takes us up to speed. Jaden Bunch, an 11.637 as we slow for the 23K of Aaron Mosier, whose fastest lap before that yellow flu was an 11.983. Evan Rauscher, a 12.769. We are at the halfway point for open qualifying with 16 drivers having qualified. Riley Clem still the fastest in 11.036. Garrett Brown 11.071. '56C Carson Hames 11.542. Kindon Peacock 11.561. And Aaron Mosier in 11.923, sitting in the 15th spot. So, we've been talking about those top 6 that are going to go to the Trophy Dash. Right now, with just half of our drivers having qualified, the 24 Alex Foster is 11.297, sitting in the 6th position. 5th right now, Josh Wooten, 11.288. It's tight in there, too, with the 24P Tyler Pettit at 11.281. All right, so in this group, the number 46 of Preston Carr, 11.668. The 3R of Blake Rauscher, an 11.964 on that last lap was his fastest. 54 Carson Hall, also quickest on that last lap, in 11.810. Preston Carr, 11.668 for the 15th fastest time so far. Number 8, Bryson Souza comes out to the track. I cannot believe the number 14, Rowdy Gramps, is in the open class. I feel like last time I was here announcing Rowdy was in the box stock class. Nice lap there from the number 8 of Bryson Susan, 11.303 is 7th quick. Number 14, Rowdy Gramps, 11.343 is 14th quick. Number 8 of Bryson Souza, fastest one in that group, an 11.303 in the 7th fastest position. We will now bring out the 3C, your current points leader, Casey Schmitz, comes out to the track. The 11VS, John Michael Bunch. The 9L of Luke Hayes. We welcome the 22 of Caden Butler, all aiming for the current quick time, an 11.036, still the fastest time by Riley Clem. Alex Foster still in the hot seat in the 6th fastest spot as we get up to speed. Everyone wondering if that last lap was as fast as it looked. It was. The 3C of Casey Schmitz takes us down into the 10-second bracket with a 10.854. It looked real quick coming out of 4, and it was. You have a new fast time cycle in the 3C Casey Schmitz at 10.854. Nice lap 2 from the 11 VS. John Michael Bunch representing in the 6th position with an 11.244. Ryan Foster has taken the track. He won the Trophy Dash last Saturday night. Can he get into the 10-second bracket? A 10.854. It looked fast. It was the 24K Koa Crane new fast time, 10.799 as we finish up qualifying. And Ryan Foster also looking fast, 11.027, good enough for 4th quick. That puts Garrett Brown in the final transfer spot with an 11.071. But your fast qualifier for tonight, 24K Koa Crane. So Casey Schmitz will settle for 2nd with a 10.854. Caden Butler, the 22K, 11.024. Ryan Foster in 4th with an 11.027. And number 9 of Riley Clem, an 11.036. And Garrett Brown with an 11.071 is your 6th and final Trophy Dash qualifier. Keegan Medeiros, an 11.130 in 7th. John Michael Bunch with an 11.244. We'll put him in the 8th fastest spot overall. And the 21E of Evan Barrero, an 11.262. Tanner Pettit has an 11.281. Is a top 10 qualifying spot. Josh Wooten, the number 95 with an 11.288. Alex Foster, 12th quick as we conclude our open qualifying. As we take ourselves out of hot laps and open qualifying, we will now welcome the intermediate class to the track. So we have 25 intermediates here today. That's going to take the traditional 6 to the Trophy Dash, but we'll have 2 heats for the intermediate class. Again, we are looking to qualify 25 here in the intermediate class, and we will bring out Zachary Reinbold, the 111 VS, the 11 of Michael Green, the number 18 of Racing Gramps is actually subbing today for his friend Brax Dietz, and the 94J of Jeremiah Gall is here. Eric Botello, the number 2B, running a couple of classes today, and here in the intermediate class to get us started. Here in the intermediate class, bringing out the 2B of Eric Botello, his time in 11.227. Carson Stevens in 11.447 is the number 77C. The 111 VS of Zachary Reinbold in 11.487. And the number 18, normally Brax Dietz tonight, Racing Gramps in 11.594. Jeremiah Gall, the 94J in 11.773. And Michael Green, a 12.111 is 6th quick so far. As we look to bring out the next group of our intermediate qualifying, we will welcome to the track the number 16 of Brent Rauscher. Chevy Schroer, the number 29, is out for a qualifying lap. Mason Dietz, the 45M, and Dalton Schrum, the 8S. And Matilda Klein is out in the number 33 for her qualifying lap. Looking good there with the 29 Chevy Schroeder making up the front row with the 75 of Jackson Hall. Kaylee Burgess, the number 22K, in her spot on the inside of row number 2, sharing the row with the 1M of Triton Monis on the outside of row 2. The 33 of Matilda Klein is scheduled to start on the inside of row 3. It looks like she's choosing to tag the back. Actually, she did have to get pushed off there, which is the cause for her to be put to the back of the lineup. Other than that, the lineup looks good as we will speed things up here with the intermediates coming out. Again, 2 intermediate heat races. Flaggers lets them know they have 1 to go. The light will go out through the backstretch. All quiet before the green as we inch around out of turn 3. And at the cone is where they can get on the green. Gas for the green to come out. Chevy Shore with a strong start, but it looks like a spin there from 23. So the yellow comes out for the 22K of Kaylee Burgess, collecting the 94J of Jeremiah Gall in turns 1 and 2. Jackson Hall taking his starting position on the outside of row 1 to a second place lineup that will go single file as we have a lap in. Well, we did lose the 56 of Taylor Hall on the hook, but the rest of the lineup looks good. Red flag out. 88, Colton Arbogast pulls out our first red. You can see movement from the car to indicate that he is okay. Driver is okay. We can see movement out of the number 88 of Colton Arbogast as our first red flag of the night is thrown. So the 88 of Colton Arbogast is the second car on the hook and out of this race in the intermediate heat race. But we are back under yellow. And as we saw earlier, this this is actually our second restart here in this heat race. And Chevy Schroer has been having fabulous restarts and able to pull away from Jackson Hall, who's in the second place now. Brent Rauscher will line up in third. When that red came out, Colton Arbogast was actually running in the fourth position. That position will be given to the 1M of Triton Moniz. Matilda Klein, the number 33, will be in fifth. Little tweaks to the lineup here before we get back under green. We were able to move the 1M of Triton Moniz up to the fourth position. That is correct. And the 33 of Matilda Klein up to the sixth spot. So that makes the lineup looking good. There it is. There's the green light. Matilda Klein trying to make that high line work to see if she can get around the 1M of Triton Moniz. She's caught up with him from the lap before, but he's going to throw the block. Things are looking smooth out front for the 29 of Kevin Schroer, but the 22 of Kaylee Burgess now trying to make the move for third as we come into the white flag lap. Here he comes. Checkered flag, number 29, Chevy Schroer, the 16 of Brent Rauscher in second. Kaylee Burgess finishing there. Looking for the green as they come, and the start looks good. John Michael Bunch takes us into lap number 1. 95 Josh Wooten takes us into is in the second spot. Number 4 Carson Perkins in third. A spin from the 07 of Evan Rauscher. Yellow light, yellow flag. Drivers are warned that there is a car coming out of turn 4. The 07 of Evan Rauscher sitting in an uneasy position there, spinning out, coming out of turn 4 as the drivers come around into the second lap. The 11 VS of John Michael Bunch, so he started on the pole, quickly got out to a nice lead. We will go single file with Josh Wooten now lined up in the second. Carson Perkins running in third and Carson Hames in fourth. Evan Rauscher with that spin is able to continue. So just tag the back of the lineup. And the flagger once again has the light out, so we will be looking for a green start coming out of turn 4. halfway mark shown for the drivers as we are coming into lap number 4. You see Colt Hunterman, the 14 seed, trying to go down low, see if he can get a little bit of grip, make a pass on a couple of these cars coming into lap number 5. Number 95, Josh Wooten, with his fastest lap of the race as the white flag comes out. He is shortening the distance between him and your leader, John Michael Bunch. It looks like he's found something, but not sure if it'll be enough as the checkered flag is on deck and scheduled to come out. Josh Wooten, just not quite enough for the 11 BS as John Michael Bunch takes the checkered flag. Carson Perkins finishing in 3rd. John Michael Bunch with a great run there to win the heat race. Interesting watching Josh Wooten and noticing that his last couple laps were some of his fastest laps. In fact, the number 4 of Carson Perkins, who finished in 3rd and actually just lost a tire right there. Carson's fastest lap of the race was the very last lap that he ran, and he was picking up some speed and catching up to those leaders as well. But good news, Cycleland, he will be late in the A-Main event later on. We will be able to see all 4 of those gentlemen competing in tonight's Open A-Main event. We have one more open heat race scheduled for you all tonight. 8 drivers are expected to come out to the track. We're going to do it just the same. 8 drivers, 8 laps, and the top 4 will transfer. The front row is going to look something like this. 21E, Evan Borello on the inside of row number 1. On the outside of row number 1, the 24 of Alex Fowler. On the inside of row number 2, the 18P of Jack Phillips. Outside of row number 2, the 11JR of Jaden Bunch. Inside of row 3, Cody Hunterman in the 8K. Outside of row 3, the 46 of Preston Carr. Final row, the 54 of Carson Hall on the inside of row 4. And Blake Rauscher, the 3R, scheduled to start on the outside of row number 4. Lineup looks good. All 8 drivers have answered the call. Your front row will start us off, the 21E of Evan Borello and the 24 of Alex Fowler. Your front row, as we are in the final open heat race, flagger lets them know they have 1 to go. The light will go out as we head into the backstretch. 8 laps, top 4 transfer. Top 4 transfer out of this heat race into tonight's A-Main event. No start. Not a start. There. Too early of a start there. We will be given a warning here to the 21E of Evan Borello. We're also looking for collaboration and working together between the front row, the 21E of Evan Borello and the 24 of Alex Fowler, working together as we have a clean start, and we will give it another try. We see the cone. We see that white line as they come out of turn 4. And we'll take it this time, taking that start as we go into the green. The 18P of Jack Phillips, who came from the inside of row number 2 as we see the halfway point in the race. The 18P of Jack Phillips, with that, after that start, getting up to the 2nd position, and you can see the gap is tightening between the top 2 cars. Evan Borello still your leader. Got around that turn a little little bit better than the 18, as the 18 looks good in 3 and 4. White flag out, your top 3 all in contention. The number 46 of Preston Carr with a little bit of a bobble, enough of room for Cody Henderson to move around. And into the checkered flag, it is still the number 21E of Evan Barella. And a close finish coming right down to the line. Right down to the line. Not exactly the clean start that we were looking for here, as we are trying to get some green laps in on our open BMain event. Involved here is the 43 of Garrett Gramps, the 23 care of Aaron Mosier, and the 14C of Colton Hunderman. So we're going to take a look here and make sure all these drivers can continue. The 14C of Colton Hunderman, the 43 of Garrett Gramps. We did see the 23K of Aaron Mosier able to very cleanly pull off and be able to tag the back of this race. So the rule book is stating it as this: those drivers that were involved in that incident here on the front stretch, they will have to go to the back of the line, but they aren't charged with the yellow. So if they were to have another yellow, they wouldn't be kicked out of the race, because we do have a 2-spin rule. But the 2-spin rule will not apply because this was right at the very beginning of the race, and we're going back to a side-by-side restart since we did not take the green. So looking for a good, clean start from the 8 of Bryson Sousa and the 18C of Colby Fox. Those are our front row cars. They have the job. They have the job of bringing this around clean and giving us a good green flag start. And the start looks good. Oh, a tricky spinner from the 18C of Colby Fox. Quite a bit of a bicycle there from the 18C of Colby Fox from the front row. That was the 18C that we saw with a bicycle, but you could see the 23K of Aaron Mosier getting into contact, nowhere to go, and so that will be the first yellow for both of those. As we were talking earlier, the 23K, who was in an incident right at the beginning of the race, but it was the first lap in, and so he won't be charged with that one. He will not be kicked out under our 2-spin rule. He has this just being his first spin, and he will have to start in the back of the lineup, but he will be able to continue. If their cars are okay to continue, he'll be able to go. Both drivers are okay, but it looks like the 23K of Aaron Mosier will not be able to continue on the hook. Whenever they're on the hook, that only means one thing. It means they're getting towed off. Boy, what a tough break for the number 18C of Colby Fox. There was a chance he would have been able to transfer to the A since he was starting in the second spot. We are taking the top 4, but that driver being pulled onto the infield. So we will now be single file, not a lap in. We are looking for Bryson Sousa as to be our clean leader here, and the 4C Colton Rodman lining up in the second spot. All right, looking for a nice, good, clean lap here. Fabulous start from the number 8 of Bryson Souza. Driving down for a slide job, and the number 46 makes it stick. Preston Carr taking over the second spot from the 2C of Colton Rodman. Not only making that pass nice and clean, but now Colton has his eyes on our leader, the 8 of Bryson Souza. Jaden Bunch pulls into the infield there in lap number 5. And now it looks like we are losing the 07 of Evan Rauscher. Halfway through, 7 laps in, halfway through, 7 to go. 15 laps total. Pass for the lead, 46 with a slide job, but the number 8 trying to get it back. 40C, your new leader, Cyclan, as we come in on lap number 9, the number 8 of Bryson Souza. New leader. Here comes your leader, the number 46 of Preston Carr. Well, riding the rail, the number 46, Preston Carr, with a slide job to get around the number 8 of Bryson Souza, takes over the lead with a handful of laps remaining. The yellow flag has come out for the number 14C of Colton Hunderman. So we're losing a couple of drivers here pulling to the infield. We had the 11 VS of Jaden Bunch pulled into the infield. So did the 18C of Colby Fox. But here is your leader, the number 46 of Preston's Carr, started in 3rd. 2 passes to take him up to the lead. The top 4 will transfer. We will take the top 4 drivers out of this race. The rest will have to call it a night. The number 54 being motioned to the infield. You can tell he lost a silencer. Carr is too loud over the legal sound limit, so he will have to pull into the infield as well. A disappointing end to the day for the 43 of Garrett Gramps, his first race of the year, finally making it out here to Cyclan, so disappointing to see him join the others on the infield. Still under yellow. Yes, yellow, that did come out for the number 14C of Colton Hunderman. That was a spin, but nothing mechanical, and he is able to tag the back of the pack, so he is still on the track. And there's Hank Simmons grabbing a little bit of debris off the track before we will head under green. We know we'll be starting under green because the lights have gone out and the flaggers let them know that they will have 1 to go and they will be starting out of turn 4. Just a couple laps remaining here in your Open B main event with the top 4 transferring. It's surprising to me. That's the 3rd tire we've seen go flying in the race today, in the race so far this evening. This is the number 8 of Bryson Souza. It's always difficult. That's a tough break for Bryson. He started on the pole, had a good chance of transferring, and he was in the 6th position when that happened, but now on the hook, and we'll have to join the rest on the infield. A couple laps to go. Colton Rodman with a nice couple of laps to get himself back up into the 2nd position over the 24P Tanner Pettit. Sorry, I said that backwards. Tanner Pettit getting up in front of the 2C of Colton Rodman, taking over that second position in the last couple of laps. We'll be looking for another good restart here from the 46 of Preston Carr.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Evan Rauscher, driver of the 07 in the open class, and I'm going to run you through points race number 4 for me. So we got to the track, and it was kind of an unusual day. Normally in Cycleland, it's really hot and humid, but this week it was kind of cooler and overcast a lot more windy and cool. So that all plays factors in tuning with the car. So my car didn't run right yet again, and so we were just trying to figure stuff out with the carburetor, trying to adjust it and stuff, and nothing seemed to work on the track. We would come in the pits, and everything would work just fine in the pits, but once we got onto the track, it would not work at all. So we go out there for hot laps, and I tell my dad again that the car still is doing the same thing, just wanting to fall on its face and not really take off the corner. So we really can't do anything down the infield, so we just run it how it is and try to make the best of it. And we go, and I qualify pretty bad yet again, and so that puts me and there was a lot of cars this week too. I think there was like 32 or 33, and I think I qualified somewhere in the 30s, so that just to show you how bad I really did. I started 5th row. I was the only car in the 5th row, so really didn't have anyone next to me, and so I got a good start off of it, was able to keep up with the field, but then a couple laps in, I think it was, they started to pull away from me because my car that started to fall on its face again, especially off a corner exit to center of the straightaway. My car just did not want to go. We go back to the pits and we talk to the Hamases, and even they're confused, and they've been racing opens for a while, especially at Cycleland and basically all over the place, but they didn't even know what to really do with mine. So we tried to do what they said, and just with my car not running right, it didn't work. So I think I started dead last in the BMain, or was supposed to, but something happened. I think I got bumped up a row or two somehow, so that gave me like 2 to 4 positions. I don't really remember, but I was going, and my car this off the start, this was really sluggish. I tried not to get in people's way, but we got a couple cautions in there, which was able to keep me up with the pack. I think at one point there was so many cautions I was up to like mid-pack, but then once we got on a green flag run, my car just was going really bad. I think we were green for like 4 or 5 laps, and I was getting lapped, so I just pulled to the infield because there's no point in burning fuel. And so we did that, and that ended my night. But when we get home Sunday, to Jim Zimmerman at Straight Up Performance, and we got some advice to see what was wrong, and so we looked at him, we looked at what he said to look at, everything looked fine. So now tomorrow on Monday we're going to send out my cylinder to see if something's up with that, and because Blake's car used to do the same thing, and it ended up being the cylinder was all messed up. So when I send it to Jim, and he's going to look at it and make sure everything's okay. And then if not, he's going to fix everything for us, and we're going to come home and put it back together. Then hopefully for points race number 5, it's going to be a lot better.
Evan, what does it mean do you have to have Straight Up Performance support and backing?
It's really helpful from him. He always makes sure that we are able to race and support him in his business. And it also helps out because we are also a dealer for him, so anybody that needs anything at the track can always come to us, and he's always making sure that people get what they need.
Welcome back to Rauscher Racing Weekly. I'm Blake Rauscher, driver of the 3R, and today we're going to be talking about points race number 4. We just got back yesterday. Was our points race number 4 at Cyclone Speedway, and it was rough. It was cold. It was really overcasty. It was super cold out the whole day. It was raining. We thought we were going to get rained out when we were driving down there because it was raining not too far from the track. So we get there, and didn't have to do much work on the car this week. I didn't get to have time to work on my race car, but my dad helped me out because I had baseball games and baseball practice. But we get there, the car was good to go. I made sure, warmed it up. I seen there was some stuff loose, so I was warming it up. I do my daily check thing, like when I start up, I look down, make sure everything's good. I see my motor mount bolt was coming loose. So I tightened up my motor mount bolt, and we went out for hot laps and mud pack and qualifying. And during mud pack, the track was super wet. They had to move us. They had the quads and everybody out there this week trying to move us up the track so we weren't going down super low. It was super wet. And then during our practice, it was just wet. No one could really get up to speed until they had to rerun. So after all the groups were done, it was still so wet. So they had to rerun the first 4 groups, I think it was, to get the track where it needed to be for qualifying. So they let the beginners go out, so we waited. And during practice, I didn't do too well. It was just so wet, you just sliding around, so you couldn't really get on the gas too much. And then for qualifying, it was so wet and hooked up. I was hoping, because we went first overall in practice the week beforehand, that the track was going to be kind of similar for qualifying like it was in practice the week prior. But it was not. Everybody was hammered down, and I missed the bottom in 1 and 2 like almost every lap. It was so hard. It was so wet. Like if you didn't hit it just right, you gotta hit it perfect. Otherwise, you just slide up the track on exit. And I did that almost every time. 3 and 4 was really good, but 1 and 2 was just not okay. I think I went 30th out of 35 cars. Maybe there was. Maybe it was 33. Not many cars. I did really bad. Worst qualifying we've had in a long time. That was just not okay. So I started dead last of my heat race. I passed 1 car, I think, and I was keeping up with some of the faster cars. I think we had a sportsman driver drop down. He was in our heat race yesterday, and him and Preston Carr was pretty fast. He finished really good in the A-Main. He was up towards the front. I was running with those two, and Preston Carr went to throw a slide job on me, but he wasn't really clear, so I had to check up a little bit, and I pushed me up into the muck, and I fell back just a little bit behind him. I stayed there the rest of the race. Didn't get anywhere near I didn't get anywhere near where I could make a move or anything. So I stayed there. I finished 1 spot better, I think I did, where I started from. So I had to run the BMain. I started 3rd row outside, and come to the first initial green, it was really good. Some guy had to check up. He was wrecked the guy on the inside of me, which was good for me, I guess you could say, because I was clear. I got around the guy, and they had to call it back. And I was working up a little bit right there. Coming to the first corner, I was actually doing pretty good, but they had to recall it. We did no start. I had to restart right in the same spot, and that one, so those guys passed me, and then I stayed there for a while, and then I can't really remember what happened. I was just running the top, and some guys, I think, spun out in front of me a little bit, got collected, and I would just continued on my way, and I was actually up to 4th after one of our restarts I seen, and which is the last transfer they had for the B-Main to go to the A. And right about then, starting at the beginning of the race, my car was shaking a little bit, but later on in the race, it started shaking really, really bad. The car was just, felt like, not like when the axle's bent, it shakes really bad. It didn't feel like that. It felt like when I was on the gas, it felt weird. But when I wasn't on the gas, it didn't shake. And then there wasn't really many laps left in the B-Main, and I just fell back a spot because the car's shaking really bad. And this guy got around me coming to the bottom. So he passes me, and then I think there was a caution that lap, and then under the caution, I was putting around, and it started shaking really bad, and then I felt like the chain came off. It started revving. It went vroom, vroom. So usually when your chains come off, it's still running. So it was vroom, went to the moon. I pulled in the infield because I didn't know what was going on. I get out of my car. The race was just about over. I got my gear off just in time to go push back. I seen my chain was still on. I went to go check to see if I had knocked out of gear because we had an incident earlier. I think it was points race number 2. I knocked the car out of gear in a heat race. And so I went and see it was still in gear. I was really confused. I thought I had maybe blown a gear apart inside the engine. So we get it back into the pits after my B-Main, and the car started right up. We were really confused. We get home today, and we're going to go work on some stuff. We had to check the clutch material, see if the clutch had maybe blown apart. We were talking to a guy, our engine guy. We were wondering if maybe the clutch was slipping, so it made it seem like the clutch was in when it wasn't. And I went and seen my motor mount. There's a bracket. It was broke completely in half. So we're hoping maybe that when I was on the gas and stuff and the car was shaking a lot is because the motor was moving because it had nothing to hold it. So we're going to get everything fixed up, and we have 2 weeks off now of no racing, but hopefully we get everything worked out. We can go back in 2 weeks, and we can do better than we did this Saturday.